can't be safe. What have y'all won? Y'all have had to win something for her to know.
Super Nationals.
Super Nationals?
Yeah. Shoot, just out doing the poor man's thing, you know. Homeless budget.
Homeless budget? Oh, that's... Well, I mean...
No, this belongs to somebody
Oh,
else.
really? So this is all a sponsored gig, or what?
It's not sponsored. We're just fortunate enough to use it.
Use it? Okay. Y'all renting cars out? If you come run a truck for $3.5 million, you'll be a star.
Oh, yeah.
So many sad stories in that department.
I tried to get them in some... I got some NASCAR affiliations, and I tried to get them to do some testing. I called up a couple of teams that I knew, and they're like...
I heard a test is $10,000 just to test.
Money. Yep, you gotta bring
try, as they call it now, tryouts. They get a bunch of hopefuls to give up their life savings to come out and audition when really they're not auditioning. It's like movies. It's really like movies. Yeah.
The sad thing is, for the kid's resume, I was told, I could have them in a first-class truck ride, no problem. Somebody just got to pay for it.
$3.5 million to be up front. I mean, you can go pay $500,000 and run 30th every week.
Exactly. Yeah.
You ain't gonna. It don't matter how good you drive. Tom Brady can look like Tony Romo if you put him in a bad truck.
Exactly.
So I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all good. I don't know. It just kind of sucks that the guys with talent that they should be running that kind of stuff. I mean, really, truly, I think Larson's probably the last guy to come out with talent, but even then he had somebody pay for it.
Right. The money came from somewhere.
To showcase deal in a truck deal.
Now, how many Kyle Larsons are out there that just didn't have that? That's my point.
I think he's a hell of a wheel man, but he could be beat too.
I say all the time, Kyle Larson's the greatest we've ever seen because we don't get to see everybody.
Exactly.
He's the greatest we've ever seen, but we don't get to see everybody because they don't have the. If you add up how much money was invested in him from age 14 to 20, it's probably $10 million around there. From the midget rides, the ARCA rides, the K&N, the truck rides.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Came
out of somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe he went in the back room with Epstein and paid it off at 14. That's what I'm thinking. Epstein played a factor. Will you go in the back room? You're not going. Okay. So if you don't go,
I guess we'll be in modified.
There's the moral of the story. If you don't go in the back room, they're gonna give a picture to the little kid. You want to be this guy, or you want to be this guy? They'll give him a picture of Larson, a picture of him, and say, "You want to go in the back?" That's so. They'll give a picture of Larson. Do you want to be him, or you want to be him? I mean, come on now. Is the chassis wars real in modified? I know in UMP it's real. Is it real in IMCA too, or?
The chassis wars real in everything. It doesn't matter what racing you're doing.
Right.
Every sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while, but you just gotta do what you can do.
And it seems like this is a pretty good event. $2,500 to win every night. No entry fee if you pre-entered. Low pit passes, so it's not that bad of a pay.
Yeah. Bottom line is the racers need a raise, and Barry's giving it to us. You know what I mean? Because we've been running for the same money for year after year.
And these cars don't get no respect on the West Coast at all. They just don't. It seems like this is fans, especially if you're not a sprint car on this side of the country, they don't really give a damn. You get no respect. It's all up and down the West Coast, even some parts of Arizona. Ricky Thornton helped that by going where he's went, but fan base wise, it still seems to be sprint car or nothing.
Yep. It is what it is. I mean, modified deal out here. We've got a couple of tough tracks we run at. I think Bakersfield Speedway in California is probably the toughest racetrack on the West Coast. It's just one of them racetracks, like from back in the day when I raced. If you won races at Ascot, you could probably win races most anywhere. California, if you win races at Bakersfield, you probably win races anywhere.
Right.
I mean, it's just one of them tracks that's so talent pool's good, racetrack surface is tricky, just one of them deals.
But it seems like competition on this side of the country is tough, though. It's got that Iowa-based. Maybe not Iowa-based, but it's up there. It's right there, number 2. I mean, where else for IMCA cars are you going to find tougher competition than the West Coast?
Yep. That one, let's take a look at some of the good guys that are freaking made it out of California.
Right.
Where's your boy Kyle Larson from?
Well, that's open wheel. That's open wheel. He was. Well, there's a lot of guys stuck behind in California too. I would love to ask him, you know, where how did he do in, you know, a Keith Coons midget or a truck? What happened? I mean, if racing's all equal on talent, everybody deserves the opportunity to be just as equal. So, I mean, unfortunately in racing, if you ain't got those opportunities or millions or hundreds of thousands, you're going to be running a modified, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean,
he could be Kyle Larson is what I'm saying. He just didn't have the same opportunities.
Yep. No opportunities right now. I mean, I don't know. In my personal opinion, money is what hurt racing bad because, I mean, my dog could get in a friggin' truck tomorrow if I had the money to pay for it. You know what I mean? So
Pretty much. You know, especially at a track like Daytona, you can run top 5 if you got a good car.
Yeah, you know.
Well, and then it's the difference between the difference between the good trucks and the bad trucks. If you don't have the money for a good truck, you're not going to beat anyone in a bad truck.
Years ago, it was all about talent. You know what I mean? You had to be talented to get in first class stuff. Now it's, you know, I mean, how many cars at Chili Bowl were actually owned by somebody that drove?
Well, and how many cars actually have an opportunity to win that race? There may be 400 cars, but there's only about 45 that have a chance to keep up.
If that.
You know, and then driver combos, you're talking about an Eckman. That's about all you had.
Most of them, like you said, most of them are rental rides.
Most of them, yeah. And
somebody paying for that car.
Well, and I think the other problem that gets mixed up is the respect. It's like fans of these cars, fans of NASCAR drivers, those people. It's like in racing, you can buy your way to the starting quarterback role of a team.
Exactly.
Where here, you could be Tom Brady.
Yep.
And you're going to be right here if you don't have that money.
Exactly.
And this Tom Brady don't get no respect because he didn't have no money, but the regular people down the street view him as such. You know, they view him as a local. Some people would say this is flag football. you know, that's what they could. Like if you look at it from the outside, look, this is a flag football, and your Super Nationals was the best 6-on-6 man competition or something. You know, I'm just saying that's. But that is definitely not what it is.
Yep.
Kyle Larson, I think, would struggle at Super Nationals. I mean,
there's a lot of talent throughout the country at local.
Well, and especially when you get to these modified levels, because Larson and these upper echelons, they're doing well in a $100,000 late model or a $100,000 sprint car. There's only so many people who can afford those race cars. Therefore, the competition is not as broad. Whereas there's a lot more people who can afford $30,000.
Yeah.
And that means there's way more competitors and way more competition. You know, it's kind of backwards in that aspect. So I think if you take a Larson or a Chris Belt, whoever you think's the greatest, you put them in a modified, you just open yourself up to a bigger pool. It's not as small as a pond as the sprint car late model world. When you get into modifieds, it's a big lake or a big ocean out there.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Modified court. This is very competitive throughout the whole country, and it's kind of cool that you can go up throughout the country and race it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a neat thing that the IMCA has done. In
the other sections,
is right there too. But it's kind of neat that you could go anywhere in the country and unload, and you got the same that they got. The local cars that run there on a normal basis don't have anything better because the rule packages let you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not running against a different rule package.
Well, how do you feel about the rule package? A lot of people in the USR, UMP areas, they'd say this ain't a modified, it's a crate modified. You know, like in late models, they got super late models and crate late models.
I agree.
That's what they would say to these cars.
I agree with it 100%. I mean,
but then you see these cars outrun those open motors a lot of the time.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line is that, you know, you got a good talented driver. You put him in a car that's close. Stars line up, racetrack comes around. Yeah, he's as good as anybody. You know what I mean? But
are you saying that the lower motor cost is able to give a driver a chance to get in these cars?
Yep, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing with this deal is like the crate thing. I was totally against it. I didn't like it because I come from old school. Been doing this forever. I mean, my open motor program maybe had $2,500 in it, and as a normal guy, working guy, it's a lot easier to pull $500 and pay this guy $1,000 and pay this guy,
fix it up, refresh it here and all that,
than rather going down to the
GM Performance
and pull $8,000 out of my pocket and hand it to him. You know what I mean? But the reliability of the motor, everything is is really spot on. I mean, I think the crate deal in this tire that we run on is like a marriage made in heaven. You know what I mean? You are not going to beat it. You know, with any motor. I don't care. Some of the best guys in the country have tried to build a crate killer to beat this combination. Hasn't happened.
Is it really just that tire and that motor?
I think it's just a marriage made in heaven. Yeah.
Now, if you go onto a UMP tire, it may not work, or a USRA tire.
Now that like that American Racer and stuff like that, far better tire. I mean, we've ran some of them shows, not with our crate, with actually our open stuff, and man, that we needed more motor, and we have a pretty decent little motor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of a, like I said, that tire and that motor, just they work out perfectly, you know. And it kind of sucks in one way, because a decent driver becomes a good driver. A good driver still is a good driver. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's even the playing field out, so to speak. You don't have to be the most talented driver, you know what I mean, to run one of these crates, because they do a lot of it for you. So, but it has tightened up the playing field to where everybody's a little bit more on an even keel, where, you know, it comes back into the chassis wars that who's got the little bit of advantage here and there.
So, well, and that's it, like you said, in almost everything except for the dinosaur cars, sprint cars, I guess you dinosaur cars, straight axles. Y'all are moving everywhere. Your brakes don't even stay in one spot.
I mean, I'm from way back in the day, and that sprint car hasn't changed one bit.
Some would say good. Some would say that technology's ruined modified. I mean, some will say that. You know, I mean. Yeah. So what do you think about these races coming out here? And maybe I should ask you how you feel about the Duel in the Desert seeming to be I heard there was some, you know, rumbles in the pits that it's a super late model race now.
It is.
But, you know, it used to be y'all's race in a way.
Yeah, you know, it kind of sucks for, don't get me wrong, because we did bring a late model, so I was a little bit more okay with it. But the Duel in the Desert has been a crown jewel modified race.
Traditionally.
You know what I mean? So how would you feel if the Dream, they added World of Outlaw sprint cars?
I mean, I'm a sprint car guy, so I mean, get out, move, bitch, get out the way. But I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's the same difference.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Oh
different crowd, so to speak, a little bit, and you're stealing the thunder away from, you know.
But I mean, to get that glamour back out here, you got to start bringing those to bring late models back to this part of the country too.
It was a great show. It was awesome.
Yeah, amazing show.
It was great.
It's just not dinosaur technology like the modifieds here. It's new age technology like late models here.
But it's a double-edged sword, like you said. It was a good show. It was pretty awesome.
Well, and the modifieds still race for that a decent amount of money. They just weren't the main. They were the opener for the main show, and that's what it seemed like rubbed the people a little off. And then they gave them this show. Do you think that's supplemental enough, or?
I think this is just another show. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the Duel in Desert or anything like that. It's just another race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Is there anything to coincide that race, the Duel? If it's going to be a super race, what do you think is the best idea to get that modified crowd to be like, okay, I'm all right with my role here now?
Yeah, it's tough to swallow. That's the problem. Is that the Duel in the Desert, like I said, has been the crown jewel IMCA event. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you got probably like four of them. You got the Harris Clash, you got the Super Nationals, you got the Duel in the Desert. You know, that were in now Batesville are the big deal. You know what I mean? You win one of them races in a modified, you know, it was
a deal.
Yeah, you know, it's like winning, you know, big race at Eldora. You know what I mean? So it just,
there's no going back then. Yeah. If there's late models here, there's no going back.
Because bottom line is the late models become the headline. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though one of these modified guys that work their ass off and put every penny they had in their deal and get it done, and you know, it's not like it used to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I guess some people would say, well, the crowd wasn't always there for the modifieds. They had to get a crowd in. Which that's weird. Back to the respect, back to the glamour of this area for modified guys.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying is a double-edged sword. The late models put on one heck of a show.
Fans showed up. People tuned in.
Yeah, people tuned in. I mean, it was a great success, but it stole the thunder from the
Workin Man Nationals.
Where we're at.
The Workin Man. We're only here right now because oh god, steal from one, give to another. Yeah, that was the idea. But who knows? They said this is going to be every year now.
But then
so
again, you gotta progress. Things got to move forward. So it is what it is.
Okay.
So
maybe the modified winner from here at the Workin Man should get a Jonathan Davenport ride-esque late model ride at the Duel or something like that. Spice it up. Tell Bloomquist to bring his backup car, and the winner of this gets a ride.
You think they got the sauce still?
Who?
Bloomquist.
I think he's got cars, but late model world is so crazy, man. I mean, it's so crazy. It's just
flavor of the week.
It is flavor of the week. I mean, Bloomquist, it's hard to tell who's in the car, who isn't. Hoffman ran it well, but
no, he did. Yeah.
I mean, if you put Davenport,
Madden runs good in it.
Right. I mean, Madden had a streak. Contending for championships in Outlaws last year. But seems like over there, if you're not Rocket or Longhorn, you're secondary chassis.
Yeah, you got to look at it though. You got to look at it different. I mean, most other chassis have one, maybe two good star drivers. I mean,
like Capital's got Shane Clanton, and then
Bruning, and
and who does MB Customs even have? I mean,
MB Customs is. They're Jimmy's always there.
You got Viper chassis. That's Max Blair from PA, but it just seems like those are the hit and miss. You go into a super late model race.
Their star driver. They don't have enough of them.
Well. You pull in the pits, half the pits is Rocket Longhorn.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's an issue too.
You pull in the pits, there's 15 Longhorns that should win the race.
Right.
And there's 15 Rockets that should win the race.
Right.
You pull in the pits and there's two Bloomquist cars that should win the race. So the odds are, so you can't really say one's better than the other one, in my opinion. It's flavor of the week. Bottom line is most racers are monkeys. They're all.
Did you just call Scott Bloomquist a monkey? He would be offended. I think he would call himself an alien.
Yeah,
I think he would say alien.
Racers a monkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some old boy on the internet that talks a lot of shit. That he's pretty right. Stay in your own pit.
Oh my God! Who said that?
Hot Carl.
No, Hot Carl. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's drunk half the time.
The problem is that racing's racing. Every one of them standing in the back of their trailer looking to see what that guy's doing because he's faster than me.
Well, instead of worrying about being faster, right? Well, y'all ain't worried about showing off your right rear today, I guess. Just come on by and check it out, I guess.
Look at it. We ain't got nothing to hide. Straight up shit. The only thing I got to hide is that kid in there that drives it.
What about that Team Harris?
We're good with it. We ran a Harris car last year for a guy, so we know what they got. Just I think.
Is there any real differences in between these chassis?
I think all chassis are.
Is there any visual? Are people covering up their left and right rears for any actual reason?
Well,
besides their bar locations.
To be honest with you, probably 90% of them that are covering their shit up probably don't even know why they're covering it up.
They're just monkeys. They're monkey see, monkey do. This is so true. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it sounded like that was just about.
Know why? Yeah.
They saw some winter guy do it, and I need to too, huh?
When all that shit started, I should have did it, but I didn't. I was gonna go down and buy a clear shower curtain hanging on the back of my car. What do you think of that?
I mean, you think somebody else would have... Is that the only reason he was going to do it? So somebody else would have...
Everybody would be like, what the hell is he doing?
Oh, my God.
This is how we ride. This is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose. We play it on the go, we stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. no shade, so letting her go, letting